May I come in, sir?
Yes, please
Good morning, sir.
sit down, please.
Thank you.
मृणाल,
Yes, sir.
सबसे पहले आप अपना ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शन दीजिए पैनल के सामने।
So, my name is Mrinal Kumar. I have been born and brought up in Lucknow. I have done my schooling from City Montessori School in Lucknow. And after my 12th, I moved to Dehradun to pursue BTech in Chemical Engineering. And after my graduation in 2019, I have been preparing. And I have been through 5 attempts, and this is going to be my second interview.
आपने बीटेक किया है।
Yes, sir.
What is difference between AI and EI
EI.
and AI?
So AI stands for artificial intelligence and EI stands for emotional intelligence. If this is the context. So in this way, we could say artificial intelligence is a set of algorithms. These algorithms are made such that they are made to work in the similar fashion how the humans are made to think, how humans have the capacity to think. They have similar logical reasoning, similar argumentative ability, and similar ways of solving the problem. But the artificial intelligence is trained upon a particular set of data, and upon that it gives its output. However, emotional intelligence is very much particular to the humans. It has not been input in the machines. It is the ability to be aware and manage our own emotions, and be aware and possibly direct others' emotion to something more productive. So that is the difference between emotional intelligence and artificial intelligence.
अच्छा मृणाल, सपोज दैट कि आपको आप कहीं के डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट बना दिए जाते हैं, आपका चयन हो गया, आप डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट की पोस्ट पे अपॉइंट किए गए हैं, 1-2 साल बाद कर दिए जाते हैं, 3-4 साल जो भी हो। तो उसमें कोई डैम है, डैम के सराउंडिंग्स में बहुत ज़्यादा इंक्रोचमेंट हो गया है और जब भी बारिश आती है तो ओवर फ्लडेड हो जाता है पूरा एरिया, उसके कारण बहुत ज़्यादा नुकसान होता है। तो वहाँ पे आप EI का प्रयोग कैसे करेंगे? कैसे मतलब EI का प्रयोग करके इसको दूर करने की कोशिश करेंगे?
Sir, it could involve multiple approaches from the point of view of emotional intelligence. My first approach would be to get the data of what kind of communities are living there. What is the composition of the communities? Are they tribal communities? Are they rural farming communities? And second would be my second approach after identification, because after identifying, I could learn about their backgrounds of what is their need, what is the reason for their encroachment. And apart from that, I would try to also engage with their leaders, with their representatives of why they are encroaching this area despite such dangers in the area. So I would try to maintain a personal contact. At the personal level, I would have maintain a channel of communication with them. I would try to persuade them. I would try to give them certain reasons, like legal reasons of why they are not allowed here. They are the encroachments are illegal. They could face legal penalties because of this. It could be their lack of awareness because of which they are residing there. Apart from that, I would tell them the long-term impact of the residents in that area. The communities would not be able to develop if they would be constantly beaten down by the disasters or the flooding issues. So thirdly, after persuading them, I would also try to understand their own grievance and try to rehabilitate them, providing them for an alternative settlement in any other safe area where that community could make that place their home. So these are some of the approaches.
ओके मृणाल, आपने IFS को ऑप्ट किया है। सपोज दैट कि इंडियन फॉरेन मिनिस्ट्री आपको एज ये एक्सपर्ट बुलाती है अपने यहाँ, और फ़लस्तीन और इज़राइल का जो डिस्प्यूट चल रहा है उसको कैसे बेहतर ढंग से टैकल किया जाए, भारत की पॉलिसी क्या हो, इसके संदर्भ में फ्रूटफुल पॉलिसी क्या हो, उसके संदर्भ में 5 उपाय आपसे पूछती है। तो कौन से 5 उपाय सुझाएंगे आप?
So before giving them my suggestions, it is important that I myself understand what is the current India's stance on the particular issue. India's stance is quite complex, and broadly the stance could be said to be neutral. focusing on the strategic autonomy of India. So based upon that, based upon India's own interest and global interest, I would try to follow a balanced approach. My first approach would be to recognize the sovereignty of both the nations and the interest of the India, and its connect how that policy might affect its relation with the other Western and other powers. So I would try to balance it, first of all, by maintaining a balanced stand upon those issues such that India may not seem to lean on any other side. Secondly, I would try to provide a solution based upon the dialogue and diplomacy, such that the issues that have been created there that are full of violence, they could be resolved not by any coercive means. Thirdly, I would try to ensure that the spillover effects that they are having, which are impacting India, like the Houthi attacks in the Red Sea, so they are tackled in such a way by cooperation of the Western powers or through the Middle East. And lastly, I would engage the regional parties, the regional stakeholders like the Middle East, the Western, and other powers that are indirectly related or are indirect stakeholders of that conflict to come together and to bring those conflicting parties to the table to create a better balanced solution.
ओके। अच्छा, रिसेंटली एक सपिंड मैरिज को आपने सुना होगा, जिसको ऑनरेबल दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट ने डिनाई कर दिया है। क्या है सपिंड मैरिज?
I recall I have read the issue, but I can't. I seem to unable to recall at this moment that issue.
कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं। अच्छा, ये बताइए, आप अभी IFS को ऑप्ट किए, आपने बहुत अच्छा जवाब दिया इस पे कि कैसे इंडियन फॉरेन पॉलिसी का व्यू क्या होना चाहिए इजराइल और पैलेस्टीन को लेके। सारी चीज़ों को आपने अपने आंसर में इंक्लूड भी किया। अभी आप देख रहे होंगे कि चाइना लगातार हमको हिंद महासागर में इंसर्कल करने की कोशिश कर रहा है। भारत ने भी 2 स्ट्रेटजी डेवलप की है उसको काउंटर करने के लिए। उन 2 स्ट्रेटजी का नाम बता सकते हैं रिसेंटली जो डेवलप की गई हो?
Sir, I'm unable to recall the particular name of the strategy, but I do remember some of the specifics of that strategy, which include improving the maritime domain awareness of India in the Indian Ocean region, and maintaining harmonious relation with those nations and providing them support if they are facing any crisis, and to create such relations with those nations through which India could balance China. And apart from that, the Indo-Pacific framework that the whole world is focusing upon these days, India is trying to capitalize on that, improve its stature in that.
2 स्ट्रेटजी का नाम आपने सुना होगा, नेकलेस ऑफ डायमंड और डबल फिश थियरी।
I'm sorry, sir. I'm afraid I haven't.
कोई बात नहीं। ओके सर।
पेपर आज पढ़े हैं?
Not today, sir, but yesterday and day before yesterday. I'm yet to read today's newspaper.
आज 4 फरवरी है।
Yes, sir.
इसका कुछ मायने है 4 फरवरी?
I'm sorry, sir. I don't know that as of now.
अभी बजट पारित हुआ है।
Yes, sir.
उसकी 5 खास बातें।
So first of all, it is an interim budget. So this budget is a sort of a short-term budget. So not many big policies have been announced in this budget. However, the second thing important is there is a lot of push on the capital expenditure part. Like the previous, so following the suit of the previous budgets on infrastructure, investment. So the government is trying to promote on that, improve capital expenditure and to create a virtuous cycle of growth. Third is there is a lot of push upon the renewable energy like solar rooftop farms and things like that. Further expand the India's goal of Panchamrit at the COP26 that India had given. Apart from that, there are other additions to the social schemes like Jal Jeevan Mission and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. So these are some of the things I could recall at this moment.
मेकांग गंगा सहयोग इस समय बहुत चर्चा में है, ये क्या है?
Sir, it is an multilateral organization based upon the East Asian and India, in which the stakeholders are like Myanmar and Eastern countries. So it is basically a multilateral development and cooperation forum where countries of those region, probably where the Mekong and the Mekong River flows in Myanmar. So those countries can come together at a table, discuss the regional issues, and find a common way to fight those issues together. So it has been in the news recently because there are multiple issues because of Myanmar conflict, the civil war in Myanmar. A lot of cooperation has not been going over there, and those countries are increasingly being leaning towards the China. So these are some of the developments towards that.
भारत और मालदीव के बीच बहुत इधर विवाद रहा,
Yes, sir.
और विवाद के बाद जो है आपने देखा कि किस तरह से भारत और मालदीव दोनों देश जो है, भारत की तो बहुत नकारात्मक प्रतिक्रिया नहीं रही, लेकिन मालदीव की बहुत अधिक रही। उसके राष्ट्रपति चाइना भी गए। वो पूरे संदर्भ में जो है, जो एक लक्षद्वीप का मसला उभरा है, वो क्या है?
So it is basically to improve India's presence in Indian Ocean, first of all. Secondly, from a domestic and an economic point of view, India has largely capitalized on Andaman's value for economic value for tourism and development of the island region, which has several tribal communities, but not such initiative had been taken for the Lakshadweep. So it is an initiative to promote the western islands of India and to improve the presence of Indian forces in the Indian Ocean. However, it has not been liked by Maldives as it has been showcased. So these are the two main core areas where India focuses on Lakshadweep.
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय अर्थव्यवस्था में एक शब्द आता है SDR बास्केट, ये क्या है?
Sir, I'm unable to recall the full form, but I do know it is related to IMF. It is the pool of several currencies that make that basket, and that is like the like not official, but it is like the currency of IMF that several countries have pooled in. And if anybody requires a loan, some funds are taken out through the SDR basket and provided for recovery of or any assistance to that country.
पड़ोसी देश पाकिस्तान में 8 फरवरी को चुनाव होने जा रहा है, और किस तरह से जो मौजूदा वहाँ के प्राइम मिनिस्टर थे उनको जो है जेल जाते हुए देखा जा रहा है कई मामलों में। आखिर क्या वजह है कि पड़ोसी देश जो है बार बार जो है वहाँ सेना की भूमिका बढ़ती जा रही है, जबकि दूसरी तरफ भारत जो है वहाँ लोकतंत्र लगातार मजबूत हो रहा है? इसकी क्या वजह है?
So first and foremost reason could be a historical reason. After independence,
नहीं, बुनियादी फर्क बताइएगा।
I'm sorry sir, I'm unable to form comprehend on that.
कोई बात नहीं था।
अच्छा, तो आपने अगर इस बार का आपने कहा बजट पढ़ा है, तो बजट में जो एक लाइन था, एक सेंटेंस है, वो है विकसित भारत। हाँ, इससे आप क्या समझते हैं विकसित भारत?
So the Viksit Bharat, if we translate in English, it literally means developed India. So India has been focusing on being currently it is a developing country, and we aspire to become a developed country by 2047. And all our initiatives, all our developmental initiatives, whether economic initiatives or social development initiatives, are towards attaining that goal of being a developed country and being a 10 trillion economy by 2047.
तो कैसे इसको अचीव कर सकते हैं अगर आप पूछें?
Sir, how we can achieve that? The current development framework is an example of that. Provide some evidence into how we could do that. Several steps are being followed towards that. A complete structural reforms have been promoted in the economy, like promoting infrastructural development through national monetization pipeline, through national infrastructure pipeline. Apart from that, doing legal reforms like reforming our criminal laws, reforming our economic offences laws, like सबका विकास. I'm sorry, I'm unable to recall.
इसी में ये जो आप बता रहे हैं, तो ये था सबका साथ सबका विकास, और एक लाइन और ऐड किया गया सबका प्रयास। तो ये लास्ट लाइन जो है सबका प्रयास, इसमें इसको बहुत जोर दिया जाए, इस पे बहुत ज्यादा फोकस किया जाए, तो ये क्या है सबका प्रयास?
So the idea of Sabka Prayas is, yes, government is taking a lot of initiatives and it is doing its work, but the other aspect is that now people will also have to work towards that goal. Sabka Prayas is everybody has to make that contribution. India is in its phase of demographic dividend. So through the capitalization of the demographic dividend, when everybody makes that prayas, I think so that is one of the core areas we are focusing, so that through everybody's efforts we could attain that goal. Not just the effort of government, but the people also.
तो सबके प्रयास के लिए कुछ गवर्नमेंट इनिशिएटिव लिया है? अगर आपसे देखा जाए, जैसे कि सबके प्रयास में मैं एक पॉइंट बताता हूँ, वुमेन एम्पावरमेंट करके वुमेन की इन्वॉल्वमेंट को इंक्रीज किया गया, ताकि जो वुमेन जो है बहुत ज्यादा इन्वॉल्व हो। तो क्या आपको कुछ इनिशिएटिव मालूम है जिससे इन्वॉल्वमेंट वुमेन की बढ़ी है?
Sir, I think so. There are lot of initiatives, like several women-oriented laws have been brought in the country, like providing the maternity leaves for provision of maternity leaves for the women, so that they can.
जी, सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप या फिर आप कहे जो वुमेन ओरिएंटेड सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप होता है, ठीक है,
Yes.
इससे आप क्या समझते हैं सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप?
So the self-help groups can be said like a collective, like a group of women, like how a cooperative works. The people come and pool their resources and run an enterprise. Similarly, on similar model is the self-help group, in which mostly women are the stakeholders. So a group idea is that women come into a group. They are provided some form of training, some form of bargaining power from the government, and they are given a lot of hand-holding by the government to promote some economic activity on their own and become financially independent and get empowered socially and economically.
ओके, तो अगर हम कहें कि वुमेन को एम्पावर करना, तो अगर कैसे हम इसको अचीव कर सकते हैं वुमेन को एम्पावर करना?
So we could broadly classify them into three things: legal empowerment, social empowerment, and economic empowerment.
Okay.
So in legal empowerment, several laws have been brought, like Domestic Violence Act, Dowry Prohibition Act, maternity leaves, and decriminalization of the abortion, and providing much more liberty to the woman, so that the discrimination could be curbed, like POSH Act, prevention of the sexual harassment at the workplace. So legal initiatives for women empowerment. Apart from that, social initiatives have been taken to promote their standing in the society. Apart from that, economic initiatives have been taken, like Stand Up India scheme, where women entrepreneurs are promoted to be the leaders. Apart from that, several initiatives have been taken to promote the skill development among the women, so that they could stand up on their own feet. So these are some of the examples and approach for the women empowerment in our country.
28th February, okay, is celebrated as National Science Day.
Yes.
ओके, तो क्यों सेलिब्रेट करते हैं 20 फरवरी को नेशनल साइंस डे?
सर,
रमन, सीवी रमन जो है, उनको उस दिन उन्होंने खोजा था रमन इफेक्ट।
yes.
ओके, और उसी के लिए उनको नोबेल पुरस्कार भी मिला था।
yes.
ओके, नाउ-अ-डेज जो हमारा रिसर्च है, उसके बाद फिर हम लोग इंडियंस को नोबेल पुरस्कार बहुत कम मिले हैं, या फिर हम कहें जो हायर एजुकेशन में जो है, जो रिसर्च है, वो बहुत कम हुए। तो क्यों आप, कैसे आप हायर एजुकेशन को और इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं, अगर आप?
Sir, the first part of the question, addressing that about Nobel prizes and the research in our country, it has historically been a fact in our country that expenditure on research and development has been very low compared to our neighbors, particularly like China. So that could be one reason why, because of several science and tech initiatives, Nobel prizes in science and other areas have not. So coming to the second part of the question, what we could do to improve the higher education of a country. So there could be multiple initiatives. However, many of those issues are currently being addressed through the national education policy by removing the ideas of rote learning and bringing the analytical point of views in children's studying, making our higher education more flexible, I think so. One of the important thing that could be promoted is improving the research and development in the higher institutions, to bring coherence with the first part. Improve more financial allocation in that aspect, and improve the grassroots levels, particularly in that aspect. And lastly, I would say bringing more funding and quality to the higher educational institutions. So that are some of the things.
मृणाल,
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, आपका ये बताइए, सिंपैथी और इम्पैथी दोनों में बेसिक डिफरेंस क्या है, और एक गुड गवर्नेंस के लिए दोनों में किसको ज़्यादा आप मानते हैं कि ज़्यादा उपयोगी हो सकता है?
So, addressing the first part, the difference between sympathy and empathy is just sort of could be synonymous with the feeling of pity towards somebody's poor condition or somebody's suffering. We could feel sort of bad for a short term, if we look at somebody else's suffering. But on other hand, when somebody is suffering and we feel the need to instead help them, and we kind of feel their own pain, we could put ourselves in their own shoes, then the kind of feelings we experience could be said to be empathy. And apart from that, in governance, I think so empathy plays a greater role for understanding people's issues, for understanding the perspective of somebody who is belonging from a marginalized or a vulnerable section. It brings more humanity and people centricity in the governance, and that I think so is one of the core foundations of civil services.
अच्छा, चलिए, आप पेट्रोकेमिकल्स सेक्टर से इंजीनियरिंग किए हैं। हम देखते हैं कि इंडिया के कुछ ऐसे एरियाज़ है जहाँ पेट्रोकेमिकल्स की पॉसिबिलिटीज़ है, वहाँ पे वो किए, तो उसका बेहतर दोहन करने के लिए आपकी स्ट्रेटजी क्या हो सकती है? जैसे आप राजस्थान का एरिया देखिए, बाड़मेर, बीकानेर, जैसलमेर वाला जो क्षेत्र है वहाँ अच्छा है, कावेरी और गोदावरी बेसिन में भी अच्छा खासा वो पाया जा रहा है। तो इसके लिए और बेहतर ढंग से जो भी हमारे पास रिसोर्सेज हैं उनको यूटिलाइज कर पाएँ, उनको कंज्यूम कर पाएँ हम, आपकी स्ट्रेटजी क्या होगी अगर आपसे सुझाव मांगा जाए?
I would like to clarify, are we talking about petroleum or petrochemicals, sir?
Petroleum and petrochemical both.
So first of all, if we talk about petroleum, India is a net importer of the petroleum, primarily because India does not have enough currently reserves of petroleum. However, we do have a lot of potential. So first step towards that would be more geological assessment towards of the areas where could have potential petroleum reserves. And secondly, promoting more investment in those areas to sustainably tap those issues, or to tap those reserves. Thirdly, I think so, yes, it is important to tap the fossil fuel reserves, but I think so equal attention needs to be paid towards promoting renewable energy in our country, because the recent conference of parties in Dubai has been shifted from coal towards fossil fuels. So yes, in a short term, tapping those and exploring those reserves could be good strategy, but in long term, I think so focusing on hybridization and balancing renewables could be a better strategy. And secondly, petrochemicals, sir. India is currently one of the global leaders in petrochemicals, because India has a lot of petrochemicals industry. It has one of the largest petrochemical plants, Reliance Jamnagar. So in that aspect, India is already doing quite good, and with more expansion of the ease of doing business policies of the government and infrastructure, I think so petrochemicals is only going to expand in our country, and it is already one of the net forex, one of the major source of forex earning, and I think so in the future it could further increase for India. So these are my perspective on that.
Okay. अच्छा, सपोज कि आपका IAS में सिलेक्शन हो गया, मैं तो एक हाइपोथेटिकल आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा हूँ, और उसमें डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट बाराबंकी आपको बनाया जाता है, एक 4 लेन प्रोजेक्ट पास किया जाना है, और आपको अप्रोच किया जाता है कि जहाँ से 4 लेन प्रोजेक्ट जाएगा वो हमारी लैंड से अगर जाएगा, सर हम आपको 10 करोड़ रुपए ऑफर कर रहे हैं, अगर आप इसको कर दें, आपको ये सारी चीज़ें रूट मैप बनाना है कि कहाँ से प्रोजेक्ट जाएगा, और वो 10 करोड़ रुपए आप ले लेते हैं। 10 करोड़ आपको दिया गया, आपको ऑफर किया गया, एक ह्यूज अमाउंट है, आपने ले भी लिया। 4 ऐसे क्षेत्र बताइए जहां इसको खर्च करेंगे आप।
Sir, can you please clarify the questions?
मैं कह रहा हूँ एक प्रोजेक्ट है, सपोज दैट कोई प्रोजेक्ट जाना है,
Yes, sir.
प्रोजेक्ट का रूट मैप डिसाइड करना आपका काम है कि डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट बताएगा कि ये प्रोजेक्ट कहाँ कहाँ से होकर गुजरेगा। प्रोजेक्ट में जिस लैंड से होके गुजरनी है उसके बजाय दूसरे लैंड से होके जाए, जब हम कहीं दूसरे लैंड को एक्विजिशन करते हैं उसका पैसा अच्छा खासा देते हैं जिसका लैंड लेते हैं, तो आप वहाँ का कोई लीडर है बहुत बड़ा, वो आपको ऑफर कर रहा है कि ये प्रोजेक्ट जिस रूट से जाना चाहिए उसके बजाय अगर मेरे लैंड से ये जाएगा, मेरी लैंड ली जाएगी इसमें, तो मैं आपको 10 करोड़ रुपए ऑफर कर रहा हूँ सर, ये रूट चेंज करके मेरे लैंड से कर दिया जाए। 10 करोड़ रुपए उसने आपको दे दिया, आपने रूट चेंज कर दिया कि इस रूट से जाएगा, तो 10 करोड़ रुपए खर्च कहाँ करेंगे आप जो दे दिया गया आपको?
I'm sorry, sir. I would like to differ my stance on this. First of all, I would not accept any such amount from anybody. If it is supposed to be happened according to the administrative procedures, legal procedures, then I would not tolerate any outside interference in that project, if it is especially unofficial. Secondly, from where that project would pass through, it would completely depend upon the opinions of the experts, upon the geological experts, upon the urban planning experts, upon the road department experts. So their assessment, I think so, plays a major role from where it should go and where the allocation of the official funds has to be. So that would be my stance on this.
ओके गुड। अभी हाल में ही सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने मिशन कर्मयोगी चलाया। मिशन कर्मयोगी क्या है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के लिए फ्रूटफुल कैसे हो सकती है ये?
Sir, it is basically capacity building of the civil servants to improve their capacity to deal with the day-to-day issues, evolving day-to-day issues, and improving their connect with the citizen and utilizing technology to resolve those issues. So basically improving the efficiency of the civil servants and improving their perception with the evolving issues. This is the overall, and how it can improve it. That advantage could be, it could reduce the time in resolution of the issues, it could provide further nuanced understanding of the issues, it could improve cooperation among different improve the cooperation among different departments, it could further streamline the training part of the civil servants, it could provide a new perspective to the different levels, grade A, B and C level officers and D level officers. So these are some of the areas of improvement in the government through this mission.
Good. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.